Ikea is bringing AR models into the Google search.
There's a Japanese company which is about to attempt a moon landing.
Snapchat modeled something after an app that we all know. Maybe it's replica.ai.
Thanks Snapchat for this feature that nobody asked for. And now I want to disable it, but I simply can't.
Welcome to our weekly tech review, where we explore the latest trends, news and updates from the world of technology. This podcast is the perfect source for staying up to date with what is important to know right now. With me today I have Chris and Henrike and Vincent, and I am Tarek. Hi. The Tech Review is a collaboration of Ideas Engineering, Free Tech Academy and Upday. And you can watch all episodes on YouTube or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts while you work out, drive, or maybe even travel through space. Or trying to land on the moon, what is happening right now. So let's jump into the news. And today we are going to start with some news from Ikea.
So that's me then. Yeah, I've brought an article saying that Ikea is bringing AR models into the Google search of their products. And this is a quite conventional article, so it's non-space, non-sci-fi, non-Terminator, non-AI, but augmented reality, so which is my other domain of interest, so to say. And what I really loved about this article is that AR seems to become or get a little bit of reach. So what's happening? AR actually, as the title already implies, integrates all its products as 3D models into the Google search, so that actually when you look into Google for some kind of IKEA furniture, you can actually have a look at that in a three-dimensional way, just with a normal model, and that's the cool thing, you can actually place that in an AR view into your personal environment. So like that from any other AR experience, so that is quite cool. But the good thing with Ikea is that they have put in the whole product catalog into Google search now. So we are talking about 10,000 products. So the whole thing with actually putting AR views into Google is not that striking, right? So we have seen that with lots of various products, like from Adidas, like stuff like that, sneakers, I remember, and many others, also cars. But I think this is the first time that a company actually puts the whole spectrum of the whole catalog of products into Google search. And what I personally appreciate with this situation now is that augmented reality has the chance to become some kind of reach by doing so, right? So that is exactly the difference to what we've seen with AR beforehand. So it had been used with various commercials and promotion campaigns and everything, marketing stuff. So you had like the packages of a product or the product itself, and then some kind of funny figure actually interacting with the real product in your personal environment. And yeah, it was a joke, it was fun, it is kind of marketing. So it's a laugh for one time, and that's exactly it, and then it's gone. But here, from my point of view, we really have some kind of sustainability, right? Some really added value which you can use again and again and again. So if you want to buy furniture, you can buy a table, you can buy a chair, whatever. You can place that into your apartment. Next time you do the same, and millions of people can do that. So this is, from my point of view, the first time in that size that AR really becomes some kind of importance and reach in this combination with the Google search that has not had, from my point of view, not had beforehand. So this is actually why I brought this article, because I think maybe something's changing now with AR, which had, a rough start so far. And maybe it is becoming more mainstream now with big companies acting as some kind of multiplicators now, so that AR is getting more into the minds of people and users. And this also in combination with the rising and upcoming development of mixed reality glasses, which we are about to see within, well, probably the next years, so that the whole AR mixed reality topic could actually become more mainstream as it is, or as it has been by now.
Do you know if those models are free for download so that I can use them in other, let's say, metaverse applications and, for example, create like my IKEA-styled VR home or something? Or is it exclusively for the Google search?
So this is not being said in the article, and I have actually tried that, and I didn't see any download button. I just see the placement in your personal environment. And that, by the way, works really good, really stable. So everybody of us knows about AR placements and experiences, and quite often it's like shaky and doesn't work properly and stuff, but this is really stable. So you can place it into your room and it stays where it actually had been located. You can walk around it. It keeps its position. So that's really the cool thing. And it's actually a link to the IKEA article, to the IKEA catalog, where they have actually this functionality with all of their 10,000 projects. So I haven't seen any download functionality there.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that IKEA is still working on this because even though the topic of metaverse slowed down a little bit in the past months with the emergence of all the AI revolution topics that we have right now. It's great to see that they are still working on this because AI technology did not become worse, right? And especially because we are still waiting for the Apple AR glasses. I'm really curious to see what is going to happen on the next Apple event, where I think again someone said they are going to announce the Apple AR glasses.
Yeah, I think you have... Oh, sorry, didn't want to interrupt.
No, you go ahead.
I think you have to differ there a little bit. So about the AR glasses and the VR glasses. So actually they want to publish their VR glasses now, as far as I got it, like quite expensive, 3,000 euros or so. But of course they have a mixed reality feature in there. But also here, talking about the metaverse, so we have these various definitions of what the metaverse could have been. So actually starting with meta more or less as a VR experience. And what we are talking now, and what also my team and me actually are developing in, is more the mixed reality kind of metaverse, so to say the real world metaverse. What we see as the future, so just an enhancement of reality and not 100% augmentation in terms of a virtual reality metaverse. And if you take that into consideration, saying that the metaverse development has slowed down a little bit, yes, especially the VR thing, but on the other hand, the mixed reality thing is still on track. It's coming up as we see it here, and as we see all the developments, for instance, with Google and Apple, of course. And what we also see is in parallel the development of AI, which is a very important topic at the moment, of course, but we see also the synergies and the combinations of both AR, mixed reality, and AI will be a combination which cannot be separated in the future. It will be a synergy and it will be strong.
Right. Vincent, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say that say that I also think it's very likely that Apple will present their glasses on WWDC, just because it is WWDC, and if there is such a place, if there is a place to launch something like that, it's not Macworld, it's Worldwide Developer Conference. But the thing, I think it's the thing. Besides that, Chris, I just can agree with you that I think it's nice and great that something like that commercializes even more. And I think the big difference, what happened here, just from my point of view, is that on the one hand, we had these things for quite some time. I remember a talk from you in 2019 where you actually showed something like that, but you needed an extra, a very specific software. You needed a device, you needed a good internet connection, all these kind of things. And this now commercializes even more step by step into everyday use. And I think this is the path these things need to go in order to become normal for us, because otherwise the application needs to be so specifically and particularly beneficial for us that we actually use a special device, a special internet connection, a special software, all these kind of things. We go around all these kind of things, but it's easier when we can just pull it up, Google what we Google anyways, and have it. And I think it's going great.
If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news.
And now, this.
So let's jump to the next topic, which is coming from me, and it's space, and it's news from outer space. This time it comes from me, because right now, at the time while we are recording this episode on Monday, 25th of April, there's a Japanese company which is about to attempt a moon landing. Yeah, it's the privately developed Japanese lunar lander Hakuto R, which is trying to make an historic attempt to land on the moon as early as today, following a 5-month transit to reach the moon. And this landing attempt will be started like 100 kilometers above the lunar surface. With a braking maneuver, which we are waiting for right now, or let's say at least I have the live stream on a separate monitor right here, and I'm waiting for the live stream to be started. It was supposed to start, I think, like 20 minutes ago, so they have a slight delay. I hope nothing serious. And the great thing is that this is something like a historic landing, because it's the first, or potentially the first time, that a private vessel is going to land on the moon. Or let's say that a private vessel is performing a soft landing on the moon, because as we all know, in 2019, there was this, what was it? An Israeli spacecraft that already tried to land on the moon, but it was not a soft landing, it was a crash. And so it's still not done yet that a private spacecraft is landing on the moon. The Hakuto R spaceship, like satellite, was launched on a Falcon 9 rocket in December. And it has some very interesting payload. For example, it contains the United Arab Emirates Rashid rover and the JAXA's Sora Q transformable lunar robot. So basically a transformer flying to the moon. And I'm really, really looking forward to see what is going on there. iSpace, the company that launched this moon lander, is a company that specializes on, let's say, infrastructure. And they are planning to provide commercial lunar services, which sounds really amazing, because this is something that we never had before. But now that we are constructing that base on the moon, and later then, of course, on Mars, there's, of course, the question of transporting goods from Earth to the moon or back, of course, and also personnel. And so there's this big gap of having these lunar services that will be provided then, of course, by the private industry, with a goal of doing this in a price compatible way, because it's being demanded very, very much. And even though we rarely talked about iSpace, they are a new player on this field. And I'm sure if this landing will be successful, we are going to hear more from them in the near future. I think I read that they were founded in 2010 as part of the Google Lunar X Prize competition. So Google was supporting them. And I really love it that some companies started from scratch based on something like a competition, and are then backed by Google and also NASA. I think NASA financed this trip with the Falcon 9 rocket. And yeah, I'm right. Oh, and right now, while I'm talking, the screen popped up, so the live stream started, which does not matter for everyone who's hearing this podcast right now. Let me mute the sound. But for everyone in this podcast right now, if you want to open your browser next to the site and see the live footage from iSpace, it's online right now. So did any one of you hear of iSpace before?
Kind of, but not really. And that is actually like my first comment, that I love that you bring this article here today, because besides all the news about what SpaceX is doing, what Airbus is doing, what the Chinese are doing, it's easily forgotten that there are also other nations working in that regard. And it's actually quite impressive when you say that they were built in 2010, or founded in 2010, and now 13 years later they're already at the stage of launching something to the moon. That is really impressive when you consider the development phases within the space industry in general, but then also for really a startup, and get things going, do all the testing and setting it all up. That's really cool. So I'm not having the window open here because I have too many tabs open already, so that would completely confuse me, and I would lose my focus on this podcast here totally. But I think it's great that you bring this to the attention here.
Yeah, I also haven't heard of iSpace Hakuto.
Naruto is good. Hakuto.
Yeah, Hakuto beforehand. So I'm indeed a little bit surprised to hear that they are actually having a moon landing right now. So this is, as Henrike said, quite impressive. So just startups getting to the moon now. So seems to be a possible thing nowadays. Do you know where they actually want to land their rover or their transformer? Is that?
I'm sure they know it, but no, I don't know. I don't have the exact.
How well do you know the landscape of the moon, Chris?
Yeah,
so, how much detail?
Is it the dark side of the moon like the Chinese did, or is it upright, or is it the other? Is it the normal or the visible side of the moon? Is it next to where the Americans landed their rovers? So will we get a proof that the Americans actually did land on the moon or not? And so that's why I'm asking. And the second question is there any what exactly is the goal of the mission? So is it just landing, or you said actually transporting stuff onto there? But what is the reason? What is the idea behind that? So why do they do that?
Yeah. So for the first question, no, I do not know exactly where they are going to land. I guess that it is going to be on the visible side of the moon, because I read in another article that there are other missions that are actually planned to be landing on the far side of the moon. And so I think they are not doing this right now. But I can't tell you if this is like a known landing spot near the Apollo landing sites, but I don't know. I don't know, have this information. And for the second question, I don't have a full list of mission objectives that they have. On the one hand, they are transporting these other rovers that are on board of the spacecraft. But I could imagine, since this is the first landing, that it's like a proof of concept, because iSpace is planning to get into the space infrastructure delivery business. And so right now, I guess they are proving that they are actually able to do this and provide these services for the future. But I don't know if they are doing more than just landing and placing their payload. Maybe they plan to launch back to Earth, I guess. But this is just guessing. I really do not know what is the ultimate goal of this. But I'm really excited that someone other than NASA is trying to land on the moon right now.
Absolutely.
With a soft landing.
Yeah. And so it makes also visions of a permanent moon base, for instance, more real than it had been before, especially if you have some kind of logistics infrastructure now and can transport lunar models one after the other from Earth to Moon. So things become possible now.
Yeah. And I also think we are quite late in the game, because we are already talking about Artemis 3, which is supposed to bring people back to the moon. But if we still are not able to safely land like other rovers or moon landers on the surface, it feels like we should already have this in place if we are already planning Artemis 3.
And now, this.
So much about Japanese moon landings. Let's continue with Snapchat.
Snapchat launched a new feature already a while ago for Snapchat Plus. Snapchat Plus is a subscription service meant to be or designed to be a revenue stream from Snapchat that is based on a subscription and not an advertisement. And what it does basically, Snapchat Plus, is giving you a lot of additional features. What, however, now is being discussed specifically is that Snapchat modeled something after an app that we all know. Maybe it's Replica.ai. It is an app where you can chat with your own chatbot, with artificial intelligence, and that chatbot gets to know you, saves a lot of information what you're putting in, and becomes more and more a friend of yours. This here now is
artificial
my
intelligence.
AI, a chat option within the Snapchat app. And this is something that now is not only available for Snapchat Plus users anymore, but also for all other Snapchat users. And it is pinned to the chat window within the Snapchat app. You can talk to it, you can get advice, you can ask for entertainment purposes mostly what the trailer shows, but also again for advice you can talk to it, and in the end you can also it learns more about you, and in the end it is supposed to design a very friendly component to the Snapchat app to even more drag you into this super app, more or less, that tries to be or to add value to every step of your online presence. But users didn't like it very much. I think, Henrike, your article, the one that you brought, is focusing even more on that. Why did they hate it?
Because they cannot get rid of it. That's really the thing. It's like they perceive it like, okay, thanks Snapchat for this feature that nobody asked for, and now I want to disable it, but I simply can't. You can only, get rid of it if you have a Snapchat Plus subscription, which is like an interesting take on, creating conversion at this point. I'm not so sure that plan really succeeds in the end. No, but this is one major reason why people are like, I don't want this, I don't need this, and now I cannot get rid of it even. What the heck, basically.
So do I understand correctly that I have to pay Snapchat for removing a feature from my app? That is amazing. That is a great business model. I mean, it's not so strange, because usually I pay like a premium fee for removing ad banners on something, right? So having like an annoying AI.
But I mean, it's removing a feature that should add value and costs a lot of money in production. But just as Enrique said, it's an interesting take when you think about customizing your app and building your own experience somehow.
From what I understood also from the article that I read is that another issue is privacy. Again, I mean, that's not a surprise, but, in Snapchat, you can disable, for example, that you do not want to have shown your location on the map to other users, but the AI knows all of that. And this is like, but I do not want that this app or like this environment knows this stuff, but the AI does and makes use of this knowledge. And this was also creating frustration amongst the users.
In the trailer, you see that there is a person asking to the AI to write a song about a friend of his. And this is something that was criticized vastly because the AI can read the chat that you had with that friend. I personally have to say I don't worry about it that much, honestly. I think that it's kind of fun, and as long as Snapchat stays within the data privacy regulations of the software as it is, of the app as it is, why not? But and I think it's a chat. Jesus, I mean, screens are getting bigger and bigger. We have enough available space on our screens, I have to say, for having this up top. But also, I think we have to reflect on, or we have to look from the outside objectively. Not everybody is so keen on trying these kind of features as we are potentially.
What I also just think right now, I mean, yeah, they didn't ask for it. Now they got it and they're like, oh, this is stupid. I don't want this. And now I can't get rid of it. But I mean, we will see more of these AI features being integrated in everyday tools that we use. And it's getting more and more normal for us to have this and to make use of it. Maybe it was just bad timing that it was a bit too early to integrate that into this social media environment. But I have the feeling like in a few weeks even already, people will be like, yeah, sure, now it's there and I will make use of it. Because also when I'm at work and I'm using, the Microsoft environment and I have these ChatGPT stuff integrated in everything I do and I make use of it, it will also become normal to have it in the social media app, I guess. And then probably the whole buzz kind of gets a little bit quieter at some point. Still, people will be there who like, I'm not a fan, and it's they probably work on how to also get rid of it when you're not a subscriber. I mean, that's the least they can do right now. But, I think in general, the whole noise will, go away, I guess.
Potentially, I think that specifically the capabilities of this chat bot, if I call it that, of this AI will be getting bigger and bigger and greater and greater. Right now, I don't see how that is possible in the Snapchat app, but I'm not working on that feature, but I'm pretty sure that Snap has a lot of ideas on how this will improve your experience in Snap. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, a little bit a different angle, different perspective to the whole thing. And this is what you say actually seems to me a little bit like a projection of the whole AI development we see at the moment out there in the world, so to say, right? So AI is about conquering various aspects of life, starting with the whole creative sectors and now also getting into other sectors, domains. So it's similar to what we see here. So it's sneaking into our lives and taking over various branches, functionalities, helping us in various aspects of, everyday life. And suddenly we might find ourselves in a situation where the genie is out of the bottle and we can't get rid of it any longer.
Yeah, on the one hand, I think it's very expected that everyone needs to jump onto the AI train, because right now everything that touches AI is hyped. And so I can absolutely understand how the product managers at Snap said, we need this definitely. But at the same time, there are so many people freaking out because of obviously privacy concerns that I really, really think that they made a big mistake not letting the people opt out of this feature, or at least force them to manually enable that. But having this as like a default thing, reading all of your chats, that was probably not a good product management idea. All right. But I'm sure that we are going to hear more of this kind of news in the near future.
Tarek, I have to disagree just very
Really?
slightly. I'm sorry.
Go
I have
ahead.
to disagree because I don't know if this really is a bad product management idea. I personally think these kind of features have to be brought into the behavior and in under the thumbs of the users in order to be used, because it is just so different from what we already know. I mean, if it's a new filter or anything like that, I agree with you. We know the concept of filter. If I don't give a fuck about filters, I don't use it. If I love filters, I use them, yada, yada, yada. Here it's different. I think this is such a fundamentally different feature that it needs to be as present as possible in order to gain the traction. Something like that needs to be valuable enough to continue producing it. And I actually think it is not present enough in most of our software.
Or it is a very clever marketing stunt, because Snap was not in the news recently, and with a pseudo scandal like that, everybody is again talking about them.
I mean, what I learned from reading this article, and also last week I read an article announcing this kind of, I wasn't aware that there's Snapchat Plus actually out there. I was like,
Okay,
oh,
but
okay.
but that's your thing. I mean, it's been there for close to a year now.
Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, I'm really not a heavy Snapchat user. I have it on my phone and I barely use it. But still, I was like, okay, there's Snapchat Plus. Interesting. I mean, kind of obvious, no-brainer. But yet, I learned something new from this.
Yeah, now they have their mission fulfilled, because now all the thousands of listeners of the TechReview podcast are aware of the Snap Plus tier.
You're welcome, Snapchat. You're welcome.
Right. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for your articles. Again, it was like the highlight of the week, and see and hear you next week. Bye.